Hi, and welcome to the Stock Trader Pit. My name's Scott, if you don't already know me, and I'm creating this video this morning because I was asked how I can use the Stock Trader Pit Elite Prediction Indicator with TradingView when I have a job and I can't sit in front of the screen. I want to be able to, predict where an equity might go because I'm not into buying option contracts. I just want to buy the stock. And before I enter, I want to try to find a good entry point and try to figure out when I should log back in and see how the stock is performing and whether I need to exit, add, um, or just monitor it throughout the day. So uh, what I'm going to show you here is this is just a couple days ago. A company called JetBlue, you probably heard about it, and there's this particular investor heard about the potential acquisition, merger, for sale, whatever's going on with JetBlue. It came in the news, and he was interested in getting into this equity as a stock. So the first thing I said is this is perfect. My system will help you. And what I'm showing here on my screen is right now a daily chart of JetBlue. First thing you're going to notice is, and this is a replay, you can see that these are daily candles from a couple days ago. And I'm going to switch this to a 30-minute chart in a second. But when you start off on a daily, the first thing you're going to know is my system already draws support and resistance levels, which you can see here. And on the support and resistance levels, these are established not like a Fibonacci, but more from the machine learning from previous days and the trend that um, happened from the previous pricing. So these levels are built. What you're going to notice too is if the price were to cross these, say resistance, they'll say new support. If they drop below the support throughout the day, they're going to say new resistance. And these levels are going to maintain for the whole day, so you know where you're at. The other thing that happens on the daily chart is you're going to see this shaded area. The shaded area will become different sizes, lengths, and colors with different information. At this point, I told this person, you might want to think about JetBlue not as a stock play because I predict it to go down, unless he wants to short the stock. But he was looking at an entry where he wanted to buy it and have it go up. So I said, well, you might want to wait because right now the stock is trading at $4.53. I have a confidence level of 72% that it's going to drop to $4.03, and there's a chance it could go down. So the other things that you're seeing on here is this little thin red area. This is called a bearish fair value gap zone, and that may also act as resistance or support depending on which way the price is moving. And there's also a bullish fair value gap here at the top, this green one, this thin green one. So way up there, there was a gap in the pricing and it was established. And these will change dynamically. You'll see that this prediction box will change dynamically. And the other thing I wanted to point out is there's two lines on here. My indicator is based on EMA. And so on the daily EMAs values, the lengths of those EMAs are different than, say, a 30-minute EMA. I like to use, for example, on my 5-minute, I'm using the 9 EMA and a 21 EMA. 21 being the trend, the gray one, and the 9 EMA is more of the live action EMA that I'm looking at. And these are helpful when you're looking at this chart because if the price action's below these EMA lines, chances are it's going to be bearish. If you're getting above, it's potentially bullish. If these lines are spreading, and again, a lot of you guys already know this, but if you don't, I'm just going through some fundamentals. If the price action is drawing these lines to be further apart, it's probably going to continue in that direction. If they start getting together or cross, you can expect potentially an oscillator shift, which is built into my platform, as well as a bunch of other technologies that I've put in here to create the algorithms that will detect where the price action is relative to these EMAs and give you indicators. So what we're going to try to do here is we're going to run this replay and see if we should get into this as put. He wanted to buy stock, which unless he's shorting it, this wouldn't be ideal position for him to get in. And then see if there's a chance to buy stock with my indicator. So here, as you notice, I said, this looks like, he called me and he said, hey, should I buy JetBlue? I said, let me look it up. Pull up JetBlue 2 days ago, and this is what we see. So I'm going to change this now to a 30-minute chart. So the 30-minute chart is going to give me different algorithms. It's going to give me different indicators, and I'm going to rerun this on that setting. And what you'll notice in here is under settings, I have a sync with optimization chart time frame. As I change the time frame, I might go from VWAP to anchor VWAP. I might go from my EMA lengths, my RSA, these are RSI lengths. All these variables will change relative to the time sequence if this box is checked. I don't have to come in here and keep changing them. If I want to change them manually, I would uncheck this box, and then I would go and pick these. I have predefined what I think are optimal settings if you want to day trade, if you want to trade, I call it intraday, at 5-minute intervals, 15-minute intervals, 30-minute intervals, or you can do custom and make the chart react and the indicators react based on what your level of preference is in terms of risk tolerance and so on and so forth. I'll go through this, and you can see on the 30-minute chart, pre-market, there's a VWAP line. How do I know which VWAP line it is? Because I'm going to come into here and I can see, oh, we're using this color. So, and the style is, if I were to come down to my VWAP line, oh, it's over here. If I were to come to my anchored VWAP line, that's the color, and I can actually change the style of that VWAP. Where's my VWAP? Huh. Where did it go? You can change the style of this VWAP to be dashed line or solid. I'll put another video out that shows you where that setting is. So anyway, here's your VWAP. It says wait for an A+ setup. It doesn't really know right now. There's not enough going on, but it's going to pre-draw these lines. So again, let's run this simulation and see what the indicator will do for JetBlue. So as I start this simulator, we're going to wait and see what the market does when the market opens. Let me speed this up a little bit so we don't have to wait as long. And we're going to, on my chart, this goldish shaded area is pre-market. So the market has now opened, and I want to just show you what happened here. So immediately we got an A+ setup, 99% confidence level. We're going down when this marker appeared, it says the price action was 99% confidence it's going to drop. The time when the label was generated was at $4.43. The prediction box appeared now, not the daily one, but now we're on a 30-minute prediction box, so it's using different algorithms to generate this. But at this point, it's saying we're going to probably go down to $4.19. So let's just keep playing this out and see what happens. So again, we're on a 30-minute. Oh, by the way, I want to also pause here for a moment. So what you can do if you can't sit in front of a screen every day, you can go into your alerts and you can create a new alert here. Oh, I can't create a new alert in replay mode, but you can come in and you can create an alert, and you can say, based on the system, what alert do you want? Do you want an A+, call, put? You want to take profit trigger? You want to exit? or the ad signal. Any of these indicators or labels that come up, you can create how you want to be alerted. You can be alerted on the screen. You can send yourself an email. I actually, and then this is in another video I'll create, I created a webhook and I shoot this out to a Google spreadsheet. And when it gets to that Google spreadsheet, it passes through an AI model, and the AI model gives me data about that trade. The other thing I want to add to my chart, which is off right now, if I come down to the bottom here, I can actually also add these two tables. And on these tables, you're going to see one is current action on the left, and the other is the prediction on where it's going. So right now, we're in a trade, and these are going to update, telling you where you are relative to the EMA, if you're below VWAP, if there's any new fresh liquidity sweeps. So if you don't know what a liquidity sweep is, go Google it. It's very valuable when you're trading because it's showing institutions trying to generate liquidity by stopping people out, moving the price action really quickly. And you'll see an arrow, there's a bullish liquidity sweep and a bearish liquidity sweep, and you'll see the colored arrows in which direction it's going to go. The other thing that you're going to see here is what's going on relative to the candles here, and then again, where we are moving forward. So let me continue this. Let's assume this individual had an alert. The alert triggered him. He's not staring at a screen. He decides he's going to log in, and now he's going to put a trade in for an option, and we're going to put a put in. He'll have to figure out, when his strike price is going to be, an expiration date, but this is just alerting him. So, or her, but it was a him that asked about this. So anyway, we're going to run this simulation. At this point, what I'm seeing on my chart is I'm trading below both EMAs. The 9 EMA is above the 21 EMA. The price action is below the VWAP. We're heading down toward the support zone or level that I pre-created prior to the day starting. And this is automatic. You don't have to do these levels. It does it automatically for you. So we're going to keep playing along and let's see what happens. So we're going to run this. Oh, let me pause right here. So now we got into a put. If you created an alert, it was saying to add to your position. If you want to add to that position, it gives you confidence that we're still going to go down. So now we're adding to that position. And now we can see right here, there's a change of character. So there's a TP $sign. So if you created that alert, you could say, oh, take profit because it potentially could go back up. In this case, it's just a warning. It's not something that you have to act on. It's just telling you to look at it. Now, I personally, when I get a take profit alert, I'll come into the chart. I'll see where I'm trading. If I'm stretched from the EMA lines, if I'm below support, I'm below resistance, as I am here, and I can see that in order for this price action to get back up, you can see it hit that resistance line we created prior to the day even starting. Look how nice that came down, hit this support, bounced back up, hit that resistance, and came back down and respected it. If I got that alert or take profit, I wouldn't have probably exited at this point because I knew we had to make a big move all the way back up and through here. You also notice, let me make this larger for you, we're trading right in this fair value gap zone. So again, we had a lot of things that were going to drive this price down. If the institutional algorithm saw this, they would have done the same thing. They would have looked at this and said, well, fair value gap, I got to push through this bearish fair value gap. Oh, there's a resistance line. Look at the price action. It stopped right up against it and came back down. So theoretically, I would have still been in the trade if I was using my own indicator and following the prompts. So let's go through the evening, and I'm going to speed this up so that we get through the evening here, and we're going to get to the next day. So, oops, I went a little too fast. Next day starts, and I paused it again, and you can see here we're in the demand zone. So these zones are dynamic. It's showing the buyers and sellers. Oops, let me pause this. We're showing buyers and sellers where the action occurred, and up here are the sellers. If we got into this zone, they sold and took profit. Down here, we got buyers, and the buyers are going to step in and try to push this price up. So these zones will change. And what you're seeing now is the day opened, which I didn't stop this fast enough. We're still in our put. We're still going down. There was an add symbol. We had to take profit because if I rolled this back, this replay, you would have seen this was hitting up against the demand equilibrium line here in the center. And it would say, well, we have a change of character. Look, the oscillator, which is not my oscillator. I only put the oscillator there for a visual cue. If you guys want to go get one of these, this is free from this guy Zierman, and I love this little oscillator. This guy did a great job. However, one of the things in my system is I believed in oscillator data, that I actually put OG data in my this RO is my range oscillator calculation. So you don't need the oscillator. It's just a visual cue for me, but I like to look at it. So anyway, this is coming down. We broke through this bullish fair value gap. We broke through this bearish fair value gap. We came down to a demand zone, got an alert to potentially take profit. Or let's say you bought 10 contracts here, you added 5 when it told you to add, and now we're down here. Maybe take some money off the table. This is what this is telling us. We're now, the price action is starting to move toward my EMA lines, but you notice that what's happening with the EMA. The 9 EMA crossed over the 21 EMA, which demonstrates that we're probably still in a bearish, and it still says over here they're bearish. We're tracking to go down. Again, if I'm not staring at the screen, I only know what these alerts are telling me that I created, when I put my order in and got into my positions. So we started the day. The prediction box now is saying we're going down to $4.08. Do you remember what this prediction box said up here? Yeah, we're getting down to where that said. That was a day ago. So now we're going to keep going. Let me fast forward this again, and I'm going to move this screen over so you can see it. And this is going to keep moving down. We're hitting support right now. Look, if I stop this right here, we hit that support. It respected that support. It's starting to move back up. We haven't gotten an alert yet, but and by the way, this is a little slow right now regenerating just because we're in a replay mode. In live mode, this moves a lot quicker and you'll see immediate things. But here we exited, or at the end of the day, this blue shaded area, you wouldn't have been able to trade anyway. And I don't put any indicators in the evening. So here we exited, still convinced that this was going to be a bearish trade. And we're now into the evening. This blue shaded area is the evening. And so we couldn't have traded anyway. So you would have been in this position with no labels or markers telling you to get out, no alerts telling you to get out. And let's go through the evening and see what happens. So through the evening, this is up till midnight. My chart I have configured with a dark blue shaded area. From midnight, we get the gold area. Unfortunately, we're in a trade and it starts to look a little scary. You're like, oh gosh, if you woke up at midnight and looked at your trade, you're probably going to be, I got to get out of this trade. But you can't until the morning. The market opens. So what happens when the market opens? Market opens and the price immediately jumps right up. However, the trend now is bullish, and immediately you get this alert. Now, my philosophy is I want to cut losses as quick as possible. So I've programmed the pre-defaults in the settings to create these alerts. There's 3 different exit alerts that I've created. One is a range oscillator flip. Down here, you can see the range oscillator, but my code knows about the range oscillator. Excuse me. And so here, the morning we got into this trade at $4.43. At $4.26, it would have said to get out of this position because it looks like this is going to change. And the characteristics of the range oscillator, the price action over the EMA lines, the fact that now we're over VWAP, we just bounced off a demand. These EMA lines are starting to get closer to each other, and we can expect that maybe this yellow line might cross the gray, indicating this bullish action that it's predicting. You'll also notice here we had a fair value gap, a bullish fair value gap zone developed down here, and it respected that on the morning open. Now, I also built into my indicator an open range breakout. So for those of you that wake up and want to quick jump into a trade, the only indicators you're going to get are the ones that preserve your capital. You're not going to get into a new trade indicator unless you come back into here and change your open range breakout values. So my open range breakout values, by default, I say wait for 15 minutes and then get in after a one candle confirmation and start showing me markers. So in this case, the system said you might want to think about exiting your position. Maybe you exited before the end of the day here. You said, I'm not going to get greedy. I'm going to take my profit on this put. The market's really volatile right now. You don't know what's going to happen with the war, any news that might come out, where oil prices are going to be. But this was a pretty decent move if you bought contracts and the price dropped. So you might say, I'm going to get out and we'll see what happens in the morning and see about getting back in. So I'm not sure how you would have traded this, but again, my indicators are there to help you understand the chart. It's not to tell you when to take profit or when to exit a position. It might give you warnings about taking profit or caution that there's a changing character of the candles and the price action. But again, it's up to you to when to get in, when to get out. So let me fast forward this here, and we're going to go through the next day. So I'm going to shift this over a little bit. You can see here the prediction box now says, hey, we're potentially now in a bullish. We're above EMA. We're above VWAP. There's no fresh liquidity sweeps. We might go up to 433. Let's see what happens. So, oh, I didn't even pick up on this. So this started, we got out of our put, and immediately it says, you might want to think about a call. So, okay, I got my alert. I'm sitting in front of my screen now, and I can put this trade in. And it says 99%, we're going up to 427. Now, this is an inexpensive stock, so this move would reward you if you got into an option contract. But if you would have put it on the daily chart, you would have known or had an idea of where the price action potentially could have gone based on my prediction box here. So anyway, this is saying in the next 8 bars, we should get up there. So let's see what happens. So we're in a call now, potentially. I have my resistance lines, support lines from previous days from machine learning. And again, this is a little delayed, but because I'm doing the replay, but it said, hey, you're in a call. Don't worry, this is a red candle. You can add to it. And look, had you added to that position when it told you to, look what happened in the price action. We blew past that prediction box, and now we have a new prediction box. This always generates on the most recent candle. So whatever time sequence you're on, that'll come in. So theoretically, you might have dipped your toe in the water and bought stock. Maybe you bought options, but there was an add label. The ad label had you decided to add to your position. Would have been a good time because look, we just got another 20 cent move. So now what's going on here? Let's fast forward this. We're still in our call, and let me move this down. We're on a 30-minute chart, and let me pause right. See what happens here before I pause. Oh, wait a minute. I don't need to pause because you can see here, we got to the end of the day. There was a reverse going on. Before the close, there was a take profit label that appeared. You probably saw that. Again, this is the replay, and unfortunately, it's recalculating based on the replay, not actually on the price action movement of when this was happening and you would have been watching the screen, let's say. But even if you weren't watching the screen, that take profit label would have appeared, your alert would have triggered you, and you could have come back in before the market closed. This would have been a half hour before the market closed. So you had a half hour to come back in and put this exit out of this position. And this went from 427 when it predicted it, and you would potentially taken at 448, gotten out of that if you followed it, or maybe you bought 10 contracts and you decided to cut those down to half and take some profit off the table. So anyway, would I have exited the position? Maybe, because you know what I'm seeing here, I have my oscillator as a guide, but I see some sellers stepping in, the oscillator is shifting down. We drop below a bearish fair value gap. We might not get support until VWAP or the bullish fair value gap here. We're into the evening again with the news and the media and all that. This could potentially go back down. You might exit, you might stay in. It's up to you how far you want to take this and what you bought. We didn't get up to our resistance level, and we didn't get down to our support level. So the next day we could potentially have that kind of movement. Let's see how much more we have in this recording in the price action. I think we're current now. So we're going to go into the evening. I don't know if the date, yeah, we're not to April 1st. So this is actually going to be now catching us up to real time today. So I recorded this, as you can see down here, pre-market on April 1st. And by the way, this is no joke. This is real. And after midnight, the price action is still going up. Had you not gotten out, look what happened in the evening. And we had a prediction box that still said it was bullish. So you might have stayed in this trade through the evening. Now, through the evening and after hours, my 9 EMA is above my 21 EMA, which is a good sign. In the evening, we ended up blowing through yesterday's resistance lines. So those now become new support. And as we approach the market open this morning, we're still bullish. How easy was that, right? So had you not taken everything off the table, you'd still been in a trade. And now this is predicting we're going to 455. It's kind of been a sideways, but it's still predicting we're going up. And let's see what happens today. So hopefully this video helped you understand that my indicator isn't just about day trading with 0 DTEs on the SPY or VIX. It can be, or the Qs, that it can be used by equities and predict, should I get into this trade, as opposed to other trades that are choppy and the indicators aren't as compelling and saying, hey, we're going to go up or we're going to go down. There might be just gray saying we're waiting for it on A+ setup. So this should help somebody who doesn't want to be glued to a screen every day, wants to see how their position's going to play out, and leverage the data that's already given to us on the charts from previous days. So hopefully that helps, and have a great day and good luck trading today. Thanks. Bye.